to another episode. It's the Influential Nonprofit. It's your host, Mary Ann, and I am here with Amy Fass. Did I say that right, Amy
You did.
Fass? I,
Amy
I should
Fast,
have
yes.
asked you before I hit record, but here we are.
Yeah.
Amy Fass, we're new best friends now, and she runs an organization called Shoes That Fit, and we're going to talk about growth, leadership, adaptation, and the snowball effect of fundraising. And right, because what you're experiencing right now is the harvest. I'm going to change the analogy, but like the harvest of some seeds that you
Hmm.
planted many years ago. And I would love to explore that idea of patience in right and allowing these partnerships to grow. That right. And so we're going to get into that. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, Amy. Let me give you the. I'll give everybody the quick bio. Oh gosh. All right, let's introduce you. You are the leader behind Shoes That Fit, which is a national nonprofit that provides new athletic shoes to children experiencing homelessness and low income circumstances. And you're in all 50 states. So
We're in all 50 states.
that's
Yes.
amazing. You're a best-selling author and advocate for children affected by poverty, and you speak on scaling nonprofits, building strong corporate partnerships, and creating sustainable impact. And I think those are things everyone wants. So I can't wait to get into this. All right, before we go into that, I always start with the same question, which is tell me something that you're super proud of that you don't brag about a lot.
Oh, work wise or personally?
And I think how you show up one place is how you show up every place. So anyway, anything you want.
Well, I'll go with work, but it actually ties into exactly what I would say personally. I
Every
think
it's all the same.
it's all the same.
Hmm.
I think scaling this organization um, from a small nonprofit that was thinking kind of small, to realizing that this is an issue. Shoes are so important to kids. And to bring partners around who understand that, it's not just about providing any kind of shoes. It's about giving kids exactly what they need. Name brand shoes, they're excited about letting these kids. So to have reached all 50 states, to have launched major partnerships for people who really do, because I believe most people want to make a difference somehow. So to get them to see what a concrete difference they can make immediately, I'm just really proud of having a great staff who is very mission focused, um, who treats our partners really well. And I think that's been our key to success.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so tell me how that ties in because you said, well, it's a little bit of both. Did that feeling or that attitude like roll into other parts of your life? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
I don't know if I think about raising my daughter. I have an older husband and he has an older child, but we have a daughter together. And parenthood was not always easy.
It's not.
And yeah. So, I look at where my daughter is now. I am so proud of her. She's just amazing. But we went through some tough times together. Both did therapy, and that it's that listening and hanging in and finding out what's right for that person, which may not be what's right for you,
Mm-hmm.
and finding. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but to
Oh, it
me, there were
absolutely does.
very similar processes that at times you want to go, I can't do this. I'm in over my head.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that commitment to the mission, commitment to my daughter, commitment to, in my mind, they're very similar.
Yes.
Were very similar experiences, and I'm very proud of both. And it's that patience, that listening, that clarity, stick-to-itiveness, and then seeing things in the end blossom in ways you never thought
Yes.
they would.
You're playing the long game there, Amy. Playing the
Yeah,
long game.
it is the long
It
game.
is. It is. And it is, right? And the payoff isn't always immediately. So I want to say two things really quick. One is one of my philosophies is like, there's no work or home. It's all the same. How you show up one place is how you
Yeah.
show up another place. And we've been taught, by our capitalistic world, like, oh, this is your work life and this is your home life, like, to, like, so that we don't expect I'm not going to go into that, but so that we're allowed to thwart ourselves at work, right?
Hmm.
And what if we brought our full self to every place
Hmm.
that we went? And so I have three kids. My kids all have special needs. They're all adopted out of foster care, and they're all on very interesting journeys. But one of the things I do is foster puppies because it's really easy to make them better. Right? So if you want a quick hit of like, oh,
Yeah,
there they come these sad little things, and then in 2 days you're like, okay, we're better. We're like, yay! Look,
yeah,
I did that, but I think that's why I like that job so much because it gives me that quick hit because the kids take you take a lot of time. And one of the things I do talk about is we love people for who they are, not who we want them to be. And I think one of
yes.
the hardest practice, I want to say hardest, but the one I work on the most is loving my kids for who they are, not who I think they should
Hmm.
be or who I want them to be. And that act of allowing is, I think, one of the biggest acts of love, right, that you can give a person, your child or anyone, right? Loving a donor, right? I talk all the time about donors. We love people for who they are, not who we want them to be,
Yeah,
right? We love people for who they are, not what they can give us. And
right.
that is my relationship philosophy, but as in work and life, it goes into everything, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just not, I don't just keep that for like donors or clients. It's for everyone to practice the art of loving people for who they are, not
I
who we want
love
them to
that.
be
And
or
that's one of
what
the
they
things
can
we
do
really,
for us. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's one of the things we try to prioritize with the schools we work with. These teachers and schools are under enormous pressure, totally underfunded. I mean, so we try to be very respectful for when we're working with them for what they can do, what they can't do, because we want to be a support system. We don't
Yes.
want to just come in and say, okay, this is what we need from you and da 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 in order to get these kids shoes. And if you don't do what we say, then we're not going to work with you. No, 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 no.
Right.
We're here to
Right.
support them. So we try to be very individualized with the schools, with the kids resizing, sending out reorders if we need to. We really, and with our partners, what is it that they really are looking to accomplish and how can we do that together?
Right. How can we be an asset to everyone? So
An asset. Yes.
give me the quick rundown of, what how Shoes That Fit works, and then maybe, how it started or how you got involved in it.
Sure. So we started 34 years ago now. It started as a local nonprofit. Our founder was a feisty redhead who was working two jobs and was a single parent with two kids. But she heard about a little boy whose toes had literally been turned under in a local school. Um, and that's how he was sent to school. And the worst part of the story is when the school found out why he was crying and acting out, they had to put his shoes back on because you can't be in school without shoes. So she had no money, but she had a heart of gold. This story just really sat with her, and she just mobilized the local community. Harvey Mudd College, where she was working, she got the school. It took her a
Where was
while.
this at?
This is in Claremont at Harvey Mudd College is where it started. We've got the
Okay.
Claremont colleges here. She worked there as an admin. Um, it took her a while, and I think this is significant. The school did not respond to her offer to help right away because they are so this school, I'll just say, I won't globalize it, was so used to people wanting to help, but then disappointing the students by not showing up, not doing what they said, doing it in a kind of a cruddy way. But she finally convinced them. She got the first names of 40 kids, and they had their feet measured. Kids who were missing school because they were sharing shoes or wearing just
Yeah.
really inappropriate shoes. We had one little boy who was wearing his sister's pink, those plastic jelly
Like
shoes
jelly
and
sheet.
being
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
bullied. Yeah. Anyways, and she put up a sign in their lunchroom where the professors and students would go. It said, if you want to make the difference in the life of a child today, buy a pair of shoes. And people could pick off the size and the kid's first name. By the end of the day, all the cards were taken, all 40. And by the end of the week, people had donated 40 pairs of shoes and they walked them down. And that was our very first school. And we still help Roosevelt Elementary to this day. So it started out as a very volunteer base, which is great, but you're not going to scale purely on volunteers. And that's what has been exciting to me, I think, is the scaling of it. So just we still have volunteers, but if we had been only that program when the pandemic hit, we'd be gone today because people weren't going out and shopping and they weren't going and dropping shoes to school. So we have really positioned ourselves now that we are the shoe supplier. We have relationships with shoe brands. We purchase a lot of shoes. It's not all donations, but we've been able to, because of our size, we're able to really scale the the price. We know the shoes kids want. They want Adidas, they want Nike. We want them to fit in with their peers. We don't, we could do this much cheaper if we went to China and created a shoes that fit shoe for $3 a pair. And then all the kids would go around looking like shoes that fit kids, which is exactly the opposite of our
Mm-hmm.
program. Our program is about the kids. I say, we're really not about shoes. We're about the kids. We want these kids both to feel pride in themselves, to feel really good about belonging, but we also want them to know the community is investing in them, that they are worth investing in, and we
Yes.
think the world of them. So we have kind of become the shoe source. We're the middle person, and we're about getting the right shoes to the right kid every time.
Okay.
They don't fit, we resize, we do whatever we need to do. I don't care if I have to ship shoes to Alaska, the kids are going to be happy.
That's awesome. And you do this now through the help of partnerships. So share with me a little about how those evolved.
So we still have a large volunteer base, but they're mainly sourcing, they don't have to go out and shop anymore. They're sourcing shoes from us. We have large partnerships. Nordstrom is one of our keystone partners. So during back to school, they sell giving tags for kind of a range of costs, but we provide 50,000 pairs of Nikes through them every fall and it's through every store community. So we link them up directly to stores near them. Maybe not that exact community because they tend to be a little wealthier communities, but there are communities nearby that have huge need. We work with Geico. We work with a lot of different partners, but we also have volunteers. We have San Marino's Women's Club is coming next week they just gave us a donation. We have groups coming in, actually San Dimas coming in to help us sort shoes in our warehouse. So we work big and small. And sometimes our big partners don't really understand our smaller distributions, and our small partners don't always understand the big partnerships. And that's okay.
Right.
Because to reach all the kids in need, it's going to take a lot more
It,
than what we
yes,
have.
and they all understand the mission. No,
The mission. Yeah.
and one of the things I think is a real asset to your organization is you do one thing, right?
Yep.
You do one thing. You put shoes on kids, and so what made you? Because you've been around like more than 30 years. Was there a temptation to sort of grow? Like now we're going to outfit kids, or just keep it on the shoes? Because certainly
That's
there could
interesting.
be like we're going to provide clothes, or now we're going to provide food, but we just kept it with the shoes.
Yeah, so I will say we have partners who sometimes for delivery will bring in other things. That's fine. Our mission is shoes. We love kids getting other kinds of support as well. And what I think we've realized, and yeah, the question has come up at different times. We think that we're a very specific piece of the poverty puzzle in the US. Shoes are enormously important at some kind of intrinsic level. I mean, I think adults feel that too. You get a new pair of shoes, you feel really good. I mean, it makes you feel good. For kids, just amplify that 10 times and think about if you're the kid who's going to school in the ripped shoes, and on that new first day of school, everybody else is turning out in their new duds, and shoes are hard to source. Used shoes are not good for kids' feet at all, because the
Mm.
shoes mold to your feet. But even beyond that, it's really hard to find good ones. And they're kind of I hate to say a status symbol, but it's a symbol of a sense of pride. And it's a really hard thing to do because there are so many different sizes. We don't just go in and say, okay, we've got all these size 9 through 11 here, pick what you want. If we measure a kid, we're going to get a pair of shoes in that size. So we have had to go to NBA players to find an 18 or 19. We have a kid that we're actually having a size 23 actually now, specially made.
That's like
Um,
Shack size.
it is, and Shaq has been involved. Now, we
Yeah.
can't always do that. I mean, we need special funding for that, but our goal is to give kids what they need and to let them know that they're the priority. So we had a boy, a local boy, who was in high school, and he had to be homeschooled because his mom couldn't find him shoes,
How
so
many
he couldn't
pairs
go
of
to school
shoes?
anymore.
How many pairs of shoes do you give away a year?
Over 200,000, but a year. But we've done over 2 million kids that we've helped. Our goal is to get to 500,000 in the next few years, but we want to, grow beyond that. We really want this to be a problem that the U.S. can solve. I mean,
Right.
it is a solvable, that's the other thing. It's a
That is.
solvable problem.
That's where I was just going to go, because I think most things are solvable problems. And one of the, I feel like, hold with me here because I'm going to get a little radical, but we're really good at, hey, this person's hungry. This person's hungry. Let's feed them, right? I rescue dogs. There will always be another
Hmm.
dog. There'll always be
Hmm.
another unhoused person. There'll always be another kid who needs shoes. What can we do to make sure that kids get the shoes that they need? You know what I'm like? How can
Yes.
we solve this problem? Or is solving the problem just making this operation sustainable so no kid has to worry about if they can afford shoes or not?
It's both, but I think part of it is mindset. So
Okay.
what we're probably trying to do, both with our volunteers and also with our corporate partners, is really build this into their culture. That's why, we start with partners, but it takes us a long time to get where we were with Nordstrom. You find common values. So I'll use Nordstrom as an example. They started as a shoe store. That's their founding story. They get quality. They get customer service. So we feel like we've built a really sustainable, good partnership with them because this is a core value that they share. And we're just showing them one way to enact this in real life to make a difference. You involve employees so that this becomes something that they're really proud of, that they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. We bring volunteers into the warehouse so they can see what it takes to actually do this. And I think I really do believe most people want to make a difference. And if you can find a way to hook their values with what they're doing, I never want to take donors away. If they're working on something else and that's their love, if they want to help us too, great. But if everybody followed something that they really cared deeply about us, for us, it's kids and school, dignity, being able to play, being able to join sports teams. We have schools who have never had sports teams. We had one in Tennessee, never had a team because they couldn't show up to
Because they
run in
because they didn't
shoes
have
that
the
weren't falling
shoes,
apart. We
right?
got that team. It was a small group. We got them all on running shoes. The coach was just beyond, belief. And what that does to a child, that investment, it's not just the shoes. It's wow, somebody believes that I can run. Somebody wants to see me succeed. That's really what we want to instill
Yes.
in this generation of kids is you really do matter. We want you to have all the tools you need to succeed. And these kids are our future, and our country needs them.
I love that so much because the like one of the things I say is this isn't my philosophy, it's a well-known one, but the presenting problem is never the actual problem. It's
Right.
not the shoes, it's
It's
what the
not the
shoes
shoes.
mean. The shoes mean freedom, the shoes mean like acceptance, this, right? All of the things that the shoes
Yeah.
mean. Access, right? Access to sports that I wouldn't have. Like that's what the shoes are doing, those things.
Right.
That's what people are investing in, right?
Right.
They're right there. And
The shoes are a tool, and it's one thing that kids really do desperately need. But you're right. We're not about shoes. We're about the kids.
right.
So how we give them shoes is as important as the shoes we give.
And understanding what the meaning that the shoes have, because you said it so beautifully before, people, they want to contribute, right? They want to help, and this gives them something really tangible to do to help. And and the emotional connection is right that now these kids who couldn't get to run track get to run track, or somebody gets to come to school every day. And
Yeah,
I guess the challenge here is that kids' feet grow.
they grow. It's not a one-time solution. Yeah. And what's
If anybody's raised kids, and sometimes they go through that because in middle school it's hands and feet first, and then arms, legs, and then middle body.
yeah.
Like that middle school, they could skip a couple sizes in a
Yep.
year, and if you can't afford one pair, and your kids growing a couple sizes, you're not be able to afford, to replace that pair when they grow out of it.
Yeah. So you asked how we operate. In Southern California here in Claremont, we have a large warehouse. So the schools, this is where we started. This is where, people really believed in us and helped us grow. So that warehouse is open to the local school districts, Ontario, Pomona, Claremont. They have the teachers or school liaisons can come in whenever they have a kid in need. So some of our school districts, lower income districts, they're in a couple times a week. We, when we're further afield, it's kind of matching a donor with the school, and it's a
Right.
one-time event.
Yeah.
What I would love to see, I mean, my end goal, and it'll take a long time to get there, I would love to have these shoe banks all across the country so that kids, to your point, kids are growing. They're growing rapidly. And actually, if they're doing the job of being a kid, they're wearing out those shoes. The
Yes.
shoes shouldn't last forever. Um, anyways, that's our end goal.
Right.
Probably be somebody beyond me doing that, but that's what we're moving towards. You're
Yeah.
always looking towards what can we do to scale this.
Right. And that's what you're saying. You want to scale it to like what is it, 500,000 a year? Is
That's
that
our first goal because we feel
okay?
like that's attainable, and
So
then we'll
what?
move from
What's the
there.
plan? What's the scale for that? What's the plan for scaling that?
It has really been this, I'll have to be honest, this year's been a tough one. It's because it's been reliant on deepening our relationship within the shoe industry. And for anybody who shops anywhere, but especially, it was just on the Today Show, they had the head of Nike talking about this. The shoe industry has really contracted. So
Mm,
because of tariffs, they are not getting shoes in. So our shoe supply has contracted, and we've been really reliant on donations, on we've always been a combination of shoe donations and financial donations. Almost every shoe that we've had to provide this year, we've had to purchase with money that our donors have given us. So it's become much more expensive this year, and our numbers have dipped a little. It's just what it is. I mean, this happened during the pandemic. I feel like never waste a crisis. We're getting through this. We'll still serve close to 200,000 this year, but we had hoped to get to 250. Not going to get it, but you keep plugging along. You open up new relationships. You tell people what is happening. Um, I firmly believe there is more money out there than is needed to solve this problem. So you just keep recrafting how you tell. In your words, our mess has changed a little bit. The mess is, the mess of poverty is the same. The mess of how we source shoes has gotten messier. Um, it
yeah.
just means we need more donors.
Right. And also, I agree with you. I never think anything's a lack of resources. It's a lack of connecting to those resources.
Yeah,
We know there's plenty of shoes out there, right?
yeah,
So like my oldest works at Shoe Carnival. And now you got me thinking like, do people like Shoe Carnival? Do they like donate the unsold shoes and things like
yeah.
that? Is that
And that's what we're working on. Yes, we actually
yeah.
have excuse me, we do have a budding relationship with Shoe Carnival, but we
Okay.
have Hibbett has become a big supporter,
Oh
but
yeah.
Hibbett's great. I love Hibbett. They had given us 100,000 pairs a year before. They weren't
Wow.
able to donate until just this month because those companies are all
They're feeling it too,
struggling
right?
right now. They're
Everyone's
struggling.
feeling it. Yes, yes.
Everybody's feeling it. It will change. It will open back up. Um, but you got to be a good partner for your partners.
Yes. And
You
right,
have to
right.
be a good partner to your partners.
Because their lack of ability does not mean that their lack of caring or their lack of
Not
desire
at
to
all.
help.
It's just a timing issue. And they've been
Right.
very upfront with us. They are starting to donate what they can now. They've really been a tremendous partner. Um, Sometimes life is harder than others.
So I want to talk more about partnerships because I think this is something people can really learn from. And maybe the first step, because one of the things that you talked about was you're sort of feeling the the effectiveness of these long-term partnerships, right? And also, maybe let's start with how do you start a partnership? And then maybe talk to the idea of growing a relationship slowly over time. Here's
Hmm.
why I'm saying this is because I think a lot of organizations they're going to reach out to Hibbett and they think Hibbett's going to wave a wand and solve all their problems, right? Or right, like they want. We all want a quick fix. I get that. Like that's the desire, and also nurturing a relationship like that and growing in trust takes time. You're not gonna ask somebody to marry you on the first date. You could,
Hmm.
right? But more it's like a get to know you thing and to see like if this relationship would fit. So I would love you just to explore like how you create them and then what you do to maintain them.
So I'll tell you from my viewpoint, and there may be other viewpoints on this, but you also don't write somebody a cold letter and say, "Can I have a date?"
Right.
They're not going to respond. So I think the first thing you need to do is be aware that most of these companies are being inundated with requests. So cold calling usually, I can't say it'll never work, but it's relational. It's all relational. That's why boards, I think, are so important and the connections your board have. It starts with somebody knowing somebody and saying, "Hey, I think this is a really interesting idea that you guys might be interested in." My experience has been once you get foot in the door, it usually starts very small. but you have to show yourself as a good partner. So for us, being a good partner is magnifying what they're doing, letting other people know about it, but it's also reporting on the impact. For us, we're lucky because we can actually bring them to delivery events where they
Mm-hmm.
actually see the kids. That's gold. And not every nonprofit can do that, but that's really gold for us because once people come in and see the look on these kids' face when they receive shoes, or some of the things they say, it's really kind of life changing. You say something this simple can have this big an impact. But it takes time to get there. So I think you have to be an open and transparent partner. You have to really listen. What is it that this company is really trying to attain? Is this a good match for us? We've had companies that really haven't been a good match. It's like, oh, what you want is not something we're going to be able to provide. Let's, maybe in the future, but you have to really know what it is you're doing and make sure the partner you're working with shares your values. One of our values is respect for kids. We don't talk about need in front of the kids. We talk about empowerment. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about investing in them. We don't want to use kids or to make our donors feel better. This is really about investing in them. But I think it often starts small, and then you have to build some trust, listen really clearly to what their values are, and then present options that work for both.
That was what you said was very simple, but it's also very profound because a lot of times we pitch, right? And I think the way you build relationships, and this is how I coach and train people to do, is we listen, right? And
Yes.
then offer options. Instead of saying,
Yes.
oh, here are all these options. What do you think? We're going to say, no, I'm going to listen to what your needs are. And based on that, I'm going to recommend,
Yes.
like for an organization, oh, you do episodic volunteering. That's something we
Yes.
offer. I would love to share that with you. If that's something that really is important to your culture, that's something that we do. Would I would love to share that with you instead of
Exactly.
like pitching and selling, right? Um, it's just like you said, astute listening. I just want to listen
hmm
and respond to needs, and I can't meet your needs until I know what they are.
And I've
And
had time to really think about it creatively. Maybe there's something out there that I haven't thought about before. It's not
right,
not always one size fit all. All of our partnerships look a little different. It really is not one size fits all. And that's, I think, what makes it beautiful because they're all focused on the kids.
yes,
And people have different assets that they're bringing and different ways they want to interact. And we can make that happen.
right. And for some organizations, a company might come and have like a beautiful conference room or meeting space that you know what I mean. Like there's so
hmm
many assets that you could bring or a company could bring that you may not even have thought about if you're just going in there to try to pitch or get one thing instead of just
Right.
naturally seeing where a relationship goes. And instead of cookie cuttering it like, oh, this is our sponsorship level or this is what our part, like, no, what could we create together that
Right.
we haven't even thought of maybe.
Right. Yeah, because what is it? Are you looking for employee engagement? That's so huge right now. We can work with
Yes.
you on that in a number of different ways. What is it that you want to do? Because most of these companies have some kind of giving, they want to make a difference. They have some kind of giving. But I will say, I just have to say this, love the corporate support, but I really feel like it's the individuals and sometimes the family foundations that just kind of keep you steady and stable.
That is correct because most philanthropy is indeed individual giving,
Yes.
and partnerships and corporate sponsors and things like that are great. What is the most sustainable is the individual
Yes.
giving.
And corporate part, I mean, we have a long term with Nordstrom. I hope it goes forever, but with a lot of corporates, they may do 3 years, they may do 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You do what you can together, but you really need that base of support.
And that is what makes organizations sustainable is the individual giving.
hmm
So maybe share a little bit about your donors and how how you keep the donors you have engaged and how you find new ones.
Yeah, I'll have to say some of the corporate and the sports, we work with quite a few sports teams and athletes. That's showy. So that's kind of how we get our name out. That's almost like a PR program as much as
Mm-hmm.
anything else. I'm constantly amazed at the number of people who have their own shoe story, who did not have shoes growing up. Talking. man on Wall Street, that I got to know who literally walked to school in his shoes and he had holes in the bottom of his boots. And this is up in northern New York, and his parents were ashamed and they stuffed him. People have very personal stories. The other thing that I found is people care about the vulnerable. So I think it's safe to say that the majority of our donors give to children's charity and animal welfare
Mm-hmm.
because it's that vulnerable. These kids, it's not fair. There's kind of a fairness issue and you want to take care of them. So those are the two things that I hear from donors that tell me that that's kind of who our donors are. You either have a personal story, somebody has a story, or you're just really drawn to the vulnerable. We try to be as personal as possible. So, we call all new donors, we call to thank, for their gift and see if they have anything they want to share with us about, how they found us. Try to be very open in our communications. We have Zoom presentations for volunteers. We have these kind of town hall meetings. What's hard for us is since we're in 50 states, but we're based in Southern California, we don't do lots of big events or things like that. We will try to invite key donors to deliveries that we're doing in their area. So we try to keep it personal, but really focused on the kids. Um, it's something that we're really working on. Um, and we just try to be really grateful. I was always raised, you say thank you 7 times before you make another ask.
Yes.
You have to thank, 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 thank. Um, so people know that I think people want to know that their money is really making a difference. This is money that they have raised, somehow they have earned, and they just want to know that it's making a difference.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
so you have to let them know.
you're right. And the gratitude, like there's a phrase saying people buy to the level they feel seen and heard. And when you make people feel grateful, feel included, feel connected, um, it you have to ask less and less because they're just
Yes,
going to naturally want to give
because they care.
because
Yeah,
they feel
I
so
think
connected,
that's, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Um,
And it's not a matter of making donors into heroes. I don't like that language. It's thanking. It's just being grateful for what they've done and letting them know this is what you've allowed to happen. Thank you.
yeah.
These kids, thank you. We don't require it, but we do ask for kids to, for the schools to send us thank you notes, if the kids can do that. And we share those. We
Yeah. Oh,
share
that's
them.
great.
We share the live ones with the donor, but we also use them because that's our way of having the kids speak for themselves.
Oh, yes. And for that personal touch, right? Because
Hmm.
now I know it may not been, those shoes, but there are shoes on a kid
Yes.
and it feels very like the completion of that cycle.
Yeah.
Um, okay. I want to share something with you, and I hope
Okay.
you're open to receptivity right now.
Yes.
I would love for you to shift your language, and for anyone else listening to shift your
Okay.
language. Instead of saying these kids, you say our kids. Our kids. So when I
Yeah.
say these, I say these
Yeah, you're right.
women. And this is something I share with everyone. I learned it in crisis PR many years ago. When we say these kids are these women or the people in this community, like in these communities, it's like no, our kids, our
Our kids,
community.
you're right.
Yeah, feel how
Yeah,
different
and we're
that
very careful
feels.
about that in our writing, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. So in your language, and then it's just a matter of habit. Like a thank you for receiving that.
Yeah.
But you see the shift that because language
Yeah.
matters, words matter, and the shift in like oh it's these kids over here. No, these are our because they are your kids. They're our
Yeah.
kids. Right.
Yeah.
That's how you feel.
They're all our kids, whether
They're
we're
all
reaching
right.
them or
They're
not.
all
They're
our
all our
kids.
kids. You're
Every
right.
kid is our kid.
Hmm.
And that is the truth for sure.
Completely agree.
And
Thank you.
every kid is worthy of investment in a lot of
Yes.
ways. No, yeah. Okay, this has gone blazingly fast. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with a nonprofit leader, that you think is important to, your organization or to their growth, or any
Yeah, actually
advice?
there is one other thing. There's just so many things, but there is one other thing, and I think the importance of partnerships. We really like to partner with other organizations who may be helping kids in other ways and being a good partner. We don't have a safety net in the US. The way some other countries do. Now, that leaves us open to great innovation and much less bureaucracy. So there are advantages to it. I will
Mm-hmm,
give it that. But I think the more we can partner with other organizations to amplify each other's work, um, and to be a good partner that way is that's one of my favorite things about nonprofits, when you can find other nonprofits that you can help each other.
Yeah, and I think that's when you're talking about like, hey, if and I'm not sure what they are, but I can imagine like, if there's an organization we have in St. Louis called the Little Bit Foundation,
Hmm.
and they provide like uniforms and
Yeah.
school supplies and things like the little bits. It's like because they know those little bits mean a lot, and like
Yeah.
that's the same. Like you would partner with so then you can keep your focus on shoes,
Yes.
right? You don't have to expand to school supplies. You can partner with somebody that does school supplies. You can partner with somebody that's doing clothing or
Right.
food or or whatever it is, tutoring or whatever you find that kids need along the way, instead of expanding to bring that resource yourself.
Right.
Because that's what I think what keeps you like sort of when I say lean and mean or efficient or focus, mission
Hmm.
focus, right? Keeping
Yeah.
that mission focused to what you're the expertise of what you can do.
Yeah, and they already have their delivery system, so we don't have to recreate it. We can just
Exactly. We can just
help them.
partner with
I
it.
wish we could just give shoes to free to everybody. We can't, but we love partnering and finding new partners who might fund that part of it. But we really like that, and I think that's important for nonprofits to not feel like you're just in a silo. To
Right.
say, there
Right.
are
Yes.
partners out there. We can help each other. It might not be easy, but let's think
Or
creatively.
you have to create it yourself in order for it to get done. Or so
Yeah.
many times, like people start a nonprofit that's already going on somewhere. You could totally partner with them, and
Yes. Yeah, don't start a nonprofit unless you find that there is nobody doing what you're doing.
exactly. Please
Don't
don't.
start
Please
it.
don't
Get involved,
get involved.
please.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many good things happening out there. I'm sure they're tackling what you're thinking of. Okay. Here's the last question I always ask.
Okay.
So you're in Southern California, I'm in St.
Yes.
Louis, but if we ever wind up somewhere, if I'm there, you're here.
Yes.
Yeah, wind up at the same karaoke bar. What
Great.
is
I've
your
been to
what?
St. Louis for deliveries, so yes, I will look you
Okay.
up.
Oh,
Or if you're ever
yay!
in Southern California,
All right. So
come
we're
on out,
going.
Sierra Warehouse.
What's your wait? Where do you deliver in St. Louis? Do you have where someplace here that
I'd
you?
have to look up the
Okay.
school. I don't know name by name. Really,
Okay.
it's basically where our partners want to help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay. So what's your go-to karaoke song? What are we singing?
I don't do karaoke. I grew up, actually, I started out as a music major,
Really?
singing, and my voice has gone to double HE hockey sticks, so I do not do karaoke.
Oh
But if I
no.
am
Oh
sitting in
no.
my car and belting it out, um, oh gosh, it's going to be something with funk. Love Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh
Love
yeah.
Muse.
Yeah.
Love a good, strong female vocalist. Yeah, I'll belt it out in the car.
Yeah.
Not karaoke.
Okay.
Too
All
much, too
right.
much
We'll
pride.
do carpool karaoke.
Carpool
I'm
karaoke alone.
personally very invested in the yacht rock summer. I've been
Ah,
remember that? Okay, it's the out that Christopher Cross album, like Sailing
oh
and
yeah,
Ride
sailing.
Like the
Yeah,
Wind. Like,
yeah.
man, that came out. And I was 14 in 1980, and 13, 14 when that came out. Man, I was obsessed with that
Yep.
album. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm
We're a
just
very
going.
similar generation.
Yep, I'm just going in on the yacht rock, sister.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I love a song that you have to sing to, that you just, even if you don't want people to hear you,
Yes.
you have to let it go.
I had clients in town last week and we were working on like full self expression. So we went to karaoke and I said, you can sing one song. I don't care what song it is. And we went to this diviest little place. It is the least threatening karaoke atmosphere I could ever create. Like, this woman Rita, and she's like, uses her walker to get up to sing. Like
Aw.
yeah, it's a very sweet little place. And they did
Was
it.
it a
And
barbecue place too? When I think of
no,
St. Louis, I think of all your barbecue places.
no,
No,
no, it's just called the Hideaway, and it is a hideaway.
the
It's just this
Hideaway.
little place, and they did it, and they sang, and but the idea is to do something that scares you a little bit, and like
Yep.
let go of the result, release the outcome,
Yep.
and this the power of just doing something, even if it's not very good, and just doing something
I
that
love
scares
that.
you.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so we did. We went and sang karaoke, and one of them sang "The Greatest Showman." This is me, because that song was really important. That's a hard song to sing, and so my other friend was there, and we get up and we're all like kind of singing around her, And we just had this most amazing moment of just like all of us singing, her singing in the mic and all of us singing with her, of like solidarity and
I love that.
support. And like that's why I love karaoke because it's so fun.
Okay, maybe you're talking me into it.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
yeah.
have to.
So, but like let go, do the little things that
Yeah,
scare you.
yeah,
Release the
take a
result.
chance.
Yeah, just take a chance. You never know. So
Take a
maybe I'll
chance.
get you there in the end.
Yeah.
All right, sister. Thank you so
Thank you,
much for
Marianne. I
hanging out with
appreciate it.
me.
And it's
Hey,
lovely to meet you.
and if people want to learn more, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Probably through our website, which is
Okay.
www.choosesthatfit.org. Our phone number is on there if you want to call. You can reach out to me directly. All of our names, email addresses are our first names at choosethatfit.org. So it's really
Perfect. So
easy.
you really, and we'll put all that in the show notes if
Yeah.
you want to reach out
We're
to
easy to
Amy.
find.
That's you should be. That's how you meet
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
You don't be hard to find and meeting people. You got to be easy. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marianne. Great to meet you.
You too. And that's it for this episode of the Influential Nonprofit. Again, if you want to get in touch with me about learning to grow your influence, to connect with more donors, and get the resources you need without being pushy or pitchy, I'm always here for you too. And we'll see you next time on the Influential Nonprofit.